Morning everybody and welcome to today's morning market. So today I'm going to focus in on this morning's breaking news, and that is the UK unemployment data and wage growth data. But really what's important here, what is our take on this? Okay, so let's start off by just reading through the figures. So firstly, what is the current UK unemployment rate? So it's coming in at 4.2% for the 3 months to the end of October. So that's unchanged. But let's look a little bit at the wage growth rates that have come through this morning. So regular pay growth, so that excludes bonuses, eased to 7.3% higher compared to 12 months ago. And that's down from previous periods, but also below expectations of 7.4%. I think if we look at total pay growth, so this includes bonuses, that slowed significantly to 7.2%, and also below expectations of 7.7% overall. Finally, the number of job vacancies, so that's fallen for the 17th consecutive month, and that's now at a 2-year low of 949,000. So this is the longest run of quarterly consecutive falls ever recorded. But really, what's important here is how are we thinking around this? Now, obviously what I've given you there is arguably quite a negative set of numbers. So let's walk through how we think around that. So coming out of the COVID pandemic, we saw wage growth spike up, and that's because employers were competing for employees overall. And what you saw was unemployment trough at around about 3.5%. Now, what you're seeing now is the employment market start to normalise. If we think of that unemployment figure of 4.2%, well, that figure is still actually very low compared to long-term history overall. But let's dig into the wage growth figures. And I think they have come in weaker than expected. That will be good news for the Bank of England, with the Bank of England hoping that lower wage growth will mean less fuel on the inflation fire. Therefore, potentially for the Bank of England, it means that they can take a softer view on interest rates overall. We'll find that out on Thursday. But I think one stat that's really important to bring out is that the wage growth numbers are still above inflation overall. So that's good for me, it's good for you, it's good for the UK consumer. And finally, what else is happening this week? I think every other person who's done morning markets has probably talked about this, but it really is a huge week for central bank announcements. We have the US Federal Reserve coming out with their policy statement tomorrow, and we have in the UK and in Europe policy statements out on Thursday overall. As always, we'll monitor all of the data and we'll let you know what's really important to us. And maybe finally for me, I'd just like to plug our podcast. So it stars myself, it stars my co-portfolio manager, George Bell, and within that we've also got one of our advisors, Craig Armand, and it's hosted by Peter Bould, and it's all about cash, the usage of cash and how we think around that moving forward. So please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, do like, and please listen in. Thank you very much.